You're listening to Behind the Bulldogs on News Radio WBRN.
Off the left side to the end zone. Touchdown Bulldogs.
If I'm even having like a bad day on the course or something, I just look down at it and just feel like thankful that I'm able to be out there.
Making sure that we're like where our feet are and we're not thinking about outside distractions.
Welcome into Behind the Bulldogs, our third summer edition already here. Brandon Wirth joining you here, and I'm also joined as well, guest co-host for the summer, Brody Kaiser is here. Brody, what's going on?
I'm doing great, man. Loving summer and finally getting good weather. Spring was just not cooperating for the longest time, but Here we are. Finally golf time and feels good.
I mean, we hit 90 degrees this past week,
right?
Which is crazy.
First time of the year, I believe.
Absolutely. And joining us is a very special guest, but she needs no introduction. 2 years on the show, Tatum is back. What's up, Tatum?
Hey, I'm happy to be here. I haven't even been in Michigan all summer. I've been in Illinois. So it's nice to be back here and seeing some familiar faces. And I've definitely missed podcasting with you guys. So, yeah.
It's
back in the doghouse.
Yeah.
Back in the doghouse, indeed.
Couldn't stay way too long.
Absolutely. And our fourth guest, you just heard him, the man, the myth, the legend, director of athletics,
thank you.
Steve Brockelbank.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And it feels like summer in here, too. So this is awesome. It's fun doing a podcast in 82 degrees and humid environment.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So while we're all here, we can talk about our summers here. Brody, I know we just got out for the Harrison Memorial golf outing. Steve did as well, which right now we had a champion crown. I unfortunately was not on the winning team. My team, we kind of fell apart, to be honest. But overall, it seemed like a very good outing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know, anytime you can get staff together to do things outside of athletics, it's a valuable experience. And when you have something on the line, competitive wise, you know, all of us working in athletics, the competition factor is still there. And you're going at it, you know, you're trying to win, but at the same time, it's fun and just enjoyable to be on the course. Great day for it. And we had 3 teams make the playoff.
You had a playoff.
Which was, I mean,
we were done by noon.
Hype.
So,
yeah, you guys were.
I did not see the playoff.
The fastest round of golf I've ever seen from a 4-man
flew
team.
Through. That's how good we are. And actually played with the same ball the entire
18 hole-in-ones, right?
Which is crazy. Because I'm obviously a horrible golfer, but somehow or another I did manage to play with the same ball, and we did manage to get done in like, I don't know, 3 hours.
It was close to 3 hours.
Yeah, we were rolling. And
that was impressive.
So,
yeah, I mean, it just flew by. And it was a great afternoon. And speaking, of course, of golf, we got a lot of outings on deck, and I know we're all going to be prepared to shoot our best when it comes to all those outings. I know footballs is right around the corner here as well. We got a lot of the other sports going into July as well. Steve, for you, just talk about the impact of the golf outings for the department as a whole. You know, not only seeing the alums, but huge fundraising or aspect as well.
Yeah, it's really important in fundraising, but probably just as important in fundraising, right? We get a chance to connect with folks that often the only time they get back at times to Big Rapids or even to campus is for the golf outings, right? Some of these folks come from, you know, long ways out of town and decide to come back for the golf outing. It's easier for a lot of folks to make a plan in the summer to get back to Big Rapids or to the area to attend an outing. Harder for them often during the academic year. So often I hear a lot of them say, man, I'd love to get back for a game or an event, but you know, I'm just so busy during the year. But summer I have a little more flexibility with my schedule, and so I can find a way to get back for the outing. And so that's pretty awesome, right? And Brody, you see that with hockey. I know you're so tied in with hockey. How many of those guys, you know, there's no way that they have the ability to get back and see us during the academic year. But during the summer, they have an opportunity to get back. And so, yeah, it's obviously huge too in terms of raising some dollars for our programs, right? We always need that. One thing about college athletics that we know, regardless of whether you're at the Division I, Division II level, Division III level, it seems like you always need more revenue and you always need more money, and there's always a need. There's never a time you say, oh, we have enough, we're good. You know, I have been in college athletics for a long time, and I can never remember a time when I've heard somebody say, yeah, we're really in good shape now. You know, maybe at some of those power schools, but I suspect they're scraping and clawing too for more dollars, right? Yeah, they're still looking for stuff. So yeah, it is important from a fundraising aspect, but also just a lot of fun for the folks that get back and have an opportunity to participate and reconnect with each other. And so it's really good for our alums.
Yeah, that's always the cool part to me, and specifically for the hockey outing, but all the outings, you have so many alums that come back, yes, to give money and be around fellow Bulldogs, but the experience that they had at Ferris State as an athlete, that's why they return.
Yes.
It's to see people. Yes. It's to be around other Bulldogs and give back to the programs, but it all goes back to the fact that they had amazing experiences while the Bulldog was on their chest.
Yeah, right on. And I think that's, and it's cool to hear about those experiences, right? So I often wish sometimes our current student athletes couldn't listen to some of the stories. Not that I want to hear all of them, but I think it is pretty neat when you get to hear that, because often when you're a student athlete, and Tatum, you can talk to this a little bit because you just wrapped up. You're just so busy and focused that I always try to remind student athletes, take a minute and just enjoy it. But I think it can be hard to do because your schedule's hectic. There's a lot of demands. There's a lot that, going through your head in terms of what you need to do and keep track of. And man, it's not until later that you go, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. So I think it's good to hear those alums talk about that. And I just, like I said, I try to encourage our current student athletes, take a minute and just enjoy it for a second. Just sit back and take it in a little bit. And because it just goes so fast.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I've been done for like a month and I'm like identity crisis.
You're already reminiscing.
And I'm like trying to figure out ways to be around and like stay close to everyone. But I really like from the current student athlete perspective, like looking at alumni and like as they contribute to their programs and help and stay around, like I get it now. And now I want to like give back to my program and the other programs as well. And I'm glad Ferris has like been such a positive experience for me to where I feel like not only that I want to do that, but I feel obligated to do that too and just stay involved. So I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that's what it's all about, right? I think for a lot of us who are in administration or coaching, that's, I know we're competitive. We want to win and we have a great tradition here and especially recently of winning at a really high level. And it's important and we don't want to negate the importance of winning, but at the end of the day, it's really about the experience that we provide to young people and how we grow and develop them. And so I think that's really cool when people say, hey, I had a wonderful experience. That's to me the most rewarding part of our job.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool too that you can, yes, win a football national championship and have your volleyball team make it to the Elite Eight again, but then you continue that success into the winter season all the way through the spring. It's not an August to January type of deal for Ferris State. It's August to June where we have teams competing at a very high level in our spring sports this year. Once again, years in a row now where all of our spring sports are unbelievable.
4 teams in the NCAA tournament. Softball set a record for wins with 37 and really probably should have been in the tournament. Got knocked out by an AQ and just kind of a quirky situation. Otherwise, all 5 of those teams would have been in, right? And so, and then Whitney obviously killing it in track and national championships too. So it was a really awesome spring. And I just had an opportunity to look at the Directors Cup standings and I looked at our points and we did kill it in the spring. So it was pretty awesome.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the student athlete experience, right? That's what we're all here for. That Bulldog on the chest. We all have that mission. And you especially have a very unique position within that. You're seeing all the things behind the scenes, working with the NCAA on behalf of the university. Talk about some of the things that are in the works. I know conferences, that's a lot of big things for you this summer, whether it's Division I at the hockey level, at the NCAA, as well as the CCHA, the GLIAC as well at the Division II level. Talk about some big things coming there.
Yeah. So we did have hockey meetings. We just got back from Minneapolis last week, and it's the first time in a long time where we had all the ADs from the CCHA and the presidents together in one room to really talk about the future of college hockey and where we see the landscape and where we see opportunities and where we see challenges and having an opportunity to really better define, where is it that we want to be in that arena? Where is it that we want to be as a conference? What are our priorities? And then how do we achieve those things? And so it was good. We had a couple of coaches there too as well. And it's great to hear their perspective. I think it's good for the presidents to hear that. Often the presidents don't get an opportunity to hear from the coaches all the time. Sure. They're hearing from the AD who's hearing from the coaches, right? So it's good to have those folks in the room and share with the presidents their experiences, both competing and recruiting. And so I thought it was an invaluable meeting. I think it was really good that we spent some time together. And I think we have a little bit more direction than we had prior to arriving in Minneapolis. So I think it is a meeting with a lot of value. And then GLIAC-wise, we had our conference meeting. I actually did not attend the in-person conference meeting because I was with tennis down in Arizona at their NCAA tournament. But that's always a good meeting. The presidents are there for that meeting as well. We actually have a GLIAC AD meeting tomorrow morning. And so we get quite a bit of work done in the conference here, approving schedules. We're looking at a basketball proposal, NCAA basketball proposal tomorrow. So we spent some time looking at upcoming agenda items for the NCAA convention. So, because we'll be voting on some things in January. And so there will be some proposals that we'll take a look at and review tomorrow and then approve some schedules that we need to approve.
Wonderful.
I'm sure I can throw it to Tatum to talk about Coach Miller bringing in Brooks for basketball. But just one thing going back to hockey real quick, because there's so much out there right now about changing landscape in college hockey. Of course, last year we had major junior players eligible and sports like basketball are bringing in overseas professionals. There's all sorts of changes in the landscape, but the age difference now that the NCAA is looking at versus even just a week ago, where college hockey could have been seriously impacted if that was lowered to 18.
Yeah, and we are an older conference. That's the one thing I think people need to realize. We are an older conference. We tend to be a free agent conference for the most part. So for us, that was really concerning, the original proposal. Now the new proposal, which I think is going to pass, is going to allow our players to play up until the age of 19 and then enroll. It has been 21, so it's still going to be a change, but I think it's definitely beneficial for us as a conference. And you talk about major junior players. I mean, we didn't have an opportunity to recruit the major juniors 2 years ago when it went into effect, right? And this year we have, I think, 6 or 7 CHL players.
They've dipped in there pretty heavily.
Yeah, pretty heavily to get some guys. So. Excited. I think we have 7 guys in NHL camps this summer. So significant roster improvement for us. And so excited to get those guys here and see what they can do on the ice. But yeah, definitely some changes in hockey. And I think, you continue to look at the Division I landscape in terms of revenue share. And where do we want to land there? Do we want to opt in? Do we want to opt out? Do we want to maximize Alston? Those are all things that we're talking about and trying to kind of define for us what that looks like. And so it's fun. It's challenging. There's certainly a lot of issues. But I will say this, I've told this to a lot of people, Division I hockey is not Division I FBS football.
Yes.
Or major basketball. Like because I get asked this all the time, can we compete in Division I hockey? Can Ferris State can we do this? But I think they're hearing stories from football and they're hearing stories from basketball and they're hearing just outrageous numbers and crazy stories and, lawsuits and injunctions and you go on, right? It's kind of the Wild West right now, particularly in those two sports, especially college football. And college hockey is not like that. Now, there are elements of it for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But yes, we can very much so compete at the Division I level in college hockey. We have the resources to do it. We're not getting out resourced. And so I think where our conference is and where we want to be, we belong there and we can continue to be there at least for the near future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brody got the ball rolling on basketball a little bit. So I'm going to hop on that. I feel like we're always like expanding our staff for the benefit of the athletes and the programs and what we have here. So what are some things we can look forward to with this new addition in our program?
Well, I'm really excited to have Brooks, right? You take a look at his background and who he's worked for and the experiences that he's had. He's been really good. Now, I knew about Brooks for a long time, and just through some different kind of unusual circumstances. One, I was an AD at Division III school, so I knew of Trine. I knew of Brooks. I was very well aware of what he was doing at Trine. I also had some connection with a gentleman in my personal life where I knew about Brooks. I'd always kind of been keeping an eye on him, and I knew right away when Andy got the job a year ago. He told me, the first thing he says, he's like, "Don't call Brooks because he's the first guy I'm hiring." He goes, "So you want to have a shot at him?"
No, but we want to.
Right. Well, I mean, he definitely was going to be a candidate for us, right? For sure, with what he had accomplished at Trine. And you think about the MIAA and basketball with Kelvin and Hope and some of those things and what he was doing at Trine.
Really good league.
Yeah.
Really good league.
Yeah. So anyway, we were not in the game with him, when we made the other hire, right? So he just was not available. And Andy left so late. I think that made it a challenge too, right? Central was way behind in their hiring process, which then puts us even further behind. This year, we were ahead of the game and had an opportunity to connect with Brooks and get him here. And I'm crazy excited. And when you look at his roster, I was just talking to somebody, I had lunch with somebody today who's pretty in tune to basketball. And like, man, that roster is pretty impressive. So he has really revamped our basketball roster. We're going to be much longer as a team. I think more athletic as a team. And clearly Brooks understands the game of basketball and can coach at a championship level. He's proven that. He's already done that. And again, as I mentioned earlier, you look at the people he's worked under, a lot of national championships, not a lot of national championship coaches that he's had an opportunity to work under. So I'm crazy excited. I want to enjoy summer because I want to get on my boat. I want to fish, like just some things I want to do. But man, I'm kind of pumped to get to mid-October. I want to see basketball and hockey. Not that I don't want to see fall, Tatum. I love volleyball and football.
Yeah, save yourself now.
I know. I do. I love those sports. I really do. I enjoy watching all the sports. But I'm excited because those are two programs that I think needed a shot in the arm, and I think we're getting those. And so I'm just kind of excited to see, what impact does that shot in the arm have this year, right? You can't expect a 180-degree turnaround, but I do think we're going to see some improvement. I'm just excited to see what that level of improvement is. And I get, the other thing is I say about volleyball and football, you don't want to take it for granted, but sometimes you almost do, right? You kind of assume volleyball. Yeah, we're going to be getting volleyball. Yeah, we're going to be getting football. And so, which is awesome that we can assume that. And I think we will be really good in volleyball because I think we had a young team last year. I think we overachieved, really for the most part, based upon, and maybe the women on the team don't feel like that, and maybe coach doesn't feel like that. I'm just thinking from an outsider's perspective. I'm not so much of an outsider, but from a fan perspective. From 2 years when you look at the women we lost and what they achieved, you're kind of like, man, that is a lot to replace.
I think it's safe to say we overachieved. Like you can totally say that because I think we're all in the same boat with that. I mean, we always set really big goals at the start of the season because obviously where are you going to go if you don't have goals? We set big goals, we try to stick to it, and we make a plan, but you never really know that plan's working until it's working. I mean, as someone who we value leadership a lot on our team, especially senior leadership, Tia always says, you only go as far as your seniors allow you. And so as the oldest one on the team, that was a lot of pressure for me. And it's some games I played, some games I didn't. And so it was a lot. And for me, I put a lot of effort into my leadership. I didn't even know that it was like paying off or working until the conference tournament. And at that point, we're like 75% done with the season. So just like, I think it's safe to say we overachieved because you really don't know it's working until it works. And you just kind of have to like trust the process and trust your training and trust everything you've built up into that point. So I think it's safe to say that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a credit to all of you, obviously, on the team and to Tia, right? I mean, one of the things I always tell people when we talk about Tia, I just say, I'm just always so impressed with how she develops young people, young women, and the time she pours into them. And I mean, outside of volleyball development, I know she's going to develop them as volleyball players. She's a fantastic volleyball coach. We all know that. The record speaks for itself. You can come here and watch us play and you know that. But the things that people don't see are all the time that she pours into them as individuals in terms of teaching them just character development, individual development, right? Helping these young women become the most that they can become as a human being. I tell that story a lot about Tia to people because I said, that's what you don't see. I think that's part of the reason why you get the results you do on a court, right? Is because of that. So yeah, she does an awesome job with that. And I think that's part of the reason why you probably did overachieve because of all that time and all those leadership lessons and development that she puts into you as people. It allows you then to take those lessons you learn and apply them on the court. And then all of a sudden, wow, here we are, man. We're crazy successful again.
One of the things that I love about having a podcast like this with a former student athlete on the mic is we hear that side of it, right? Because people just look on the sidelines and they see Tia or Tony or even Brett at hockey and Brooks at basketball, the intensity.
Yes.
And it comes from a place of passion and love for the game, yes, but it also comes from a place of loving the players.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's what sometimes gets lost in all the chaos, and it's important for people to hear that side of it.
And Tony's the same way, Brooks will be the same way. I know Brett's the same. You don't get into this business because you don't want to be around young people and you don't care about young people. And so I think there's a natural tendency to that anyway, because otherwise you wouldn't do this, right? You just wouldn't. I mean, none of us are getting paid enough to say, you're doing it because you have a passion, one for your sport and a passion for young people, and you want to see them be successful. And it makes sense for sure. And our coaches do pour just a ton of time in the kids. It's awesome. Yeah. Not kids, young people.
Well, I think
when you're 58, you can call anybody that's under 30 a kid. So
well, I think the coaches they definitely bounce off of each other and get ideas from each other. And I know. Especially for TA and Tia, a lot of coaches do look up to them and try to figure out if that works for their team, stuff like that. And I'd say the same thing for the athletes as well. I mean, it's kind of hard to not be a successful team when there's success from all the other teams around you. And so when you see other teams winning big, it makes all the other teams want to do so as well. So I think
tide raises
special
all the
here.
boats, right?
Yes, indeed, for sure.
Yeah, and I think you talk about all the coaches. Kind of bouncing ideas off from each other and connecting with each other. That is so true. I remember when we were, we're working on this South End zone project, right, to put locker rooms and other facilities down there. One of the questions I asked, Tony at one point was, hey, would you be interested in having offices down there? This is when we were early in the design process. Do we want to entertain having football offices down there? And he immediately was an adamant no. And he was an adamant no right away, which I thought, I can't say I was shocked by the answer, but I was a little surprised because most people like, you can get a whole new set of offices for your entire staff. Oh yeah, we're in. But the comment he made was, what makes us special here is the synergy amongst our coaches, our staff, our students, and we're all kind of here.
Yeah.
And so we have that opportunity to connect with each other, talk to each other, bounce ideas off each other. And if we're down there, then we're just going to be the football staff kind of by themselves. And goes, I worry about losing that connection with everybody. So I just, kind of reinforces your point.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you have championship coaches all within a hallway of each other. Mm-hmm. You don't get that everywhere.
No, you do not. I can tell you that for sure. That is highly unusual.
For sure. Last topic here, Steve. We appreciate you coming on, Tatum. So good to have you back. But especially you mentioned, the time consuming with football, right? There's a lot that goes into it. Everybody's looking forward to the schedule. They already got, of course, 2 dates circled, homecoming and when do we play that team from Allendale.
Right.
But especially the time that goes into that. And you're a big contributor of that as the team administrator. Just talk about what goes into that, because it's not just like we're going to see how teams do, a 1 year away kind of thing. I mean, you guys are already planning for games years down the road.
Yeah, I would love to be even further planned out. It is definitely a struggle. So when I first got here, Tony was doing a lot of the scheduling, and I think it just was too burdensome, and it's just hard, right? And so when you need to find 4 games every year, and you're winning at the level we're winning at, it becomes really, really challenging. So, and I had done the football scheduling when I was at Miami, so it just made sense to do that. And now that there's a financial component tied to so many of them, it made sense too as well. So ended up kind of taking that role over, but I have a lot of help from people. So Sarah Higley helps me a ton with football scheduling. Brian Rock, the assistant coach, has been a part of those scheduling meetings. So there's been a lot of people. Even Cedric has, as a revenue generation guy, he secured an NAI game for us this year. So there's been a lot of people that have contributed to the process, but it is definitely a very intentional process. And one that it's the only thing on my board. If you walk into my office, you'll see the football schedule. And people might find it unusual, but I said that's how challenging it is. And I just don't want to lose focus of the fact that we have to work to get 11 games every year. And I said it is not easy, and it's not going to get easier. I think we're going to have another really strong football season again. And I'm trying to find 4 opponents, especially when you're trying to keep a balanced schedule of home and away. I like to be 6 home, 5 on the road if we can. So it's tough. We're booked this year. We're booked through 27. We're 2 and 28. I think we might have a third right now in 28. We got to secure that. And then hopefully I can get 2 and 29. And then I'll probably, if we can lock up 28 and get 2 and 29, I'll probably put it to bed until after the holidays and then go after it again. So some schools are hesitant to schedule too far out.
Sure.
When we were at Miami, we scheduled years and years out. It's a little harder here because some teams aren't sure of, what's going to happen to my conference, what's going to happen in Division II, what's my institution going to do? Do I have an out if I need to have an out? Yeah, it's ongoing. It's an ongoing challenge for sure. I'm glad we win a ton, but it makes scheduling.
Sure.
It's challenging for everybody in our conference, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of where you fall, because you got to find 4 games.
Right.
Right. And that's hard, right? I mean, most conferences, you need to find 1 or 2. And in our conference, you have to find 4. And if you're a top tier team, or like us, the top team, finding 4 games is, you can do it. It's just going to require a lot of work. It's not just one phone call or 1 email, right? It's not, I wish, right? It's not going to be that simple. So
finding 4 teams, and let alone the ones that we've gotten for this next year, it's
good. Yeah, three of the 4 non-conference we're playoff qualifying teams, right? So that's huge for us to build a play a better level, better quality of opponent, especially we head into the MPI era. How's that going to impact our MPI? I think it'll be a positive, net positive for us. But, that's really important now that we've gotten away from our regional ranking committees and are going strictly to MPI.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I love it. I think there's a lot of hype, a lot of excitement. Yes, Steve, like you said, we want to enjoy summer, get out on the boat, do some fishing, do some golfing. But the reason we're in athletics is the passion of the sports.
For sure.
And that starts pretty soon this year when you talk about athletes coming in
July
late July.
31st.
I know.
July 31st.
it's
Yeah,
gonna be
state
here
football
before we
players
know it.
report. I know. I can't believe I'm saying the word July. For
I know. It's
reporting day.
wild.
Like,
It feels really strange.
yeah.
But that's the day we got circled. So we'll get there eventually.
Yeah. You bet.
Might have to take a phone call while you're on the boat and see if we got to make that work. So
Mid-cast.
Yeah.
one hand, phone in one hand, the rod in the other hand.
Yeah. We're out trolling for salmon, so no casting.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
That's convenient then.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tatum, any last thoughts?
No, it's just, I mean, as you guys are talking about the passion, it just like being back here, I haven't even, podcast with you guys in a while. And I just love talking about sports. I feel all like fueled up again, and I feel just like motivated, and it's just nice to be in a community with people who are passionate about what they do.
Yeah, it's contagious.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so contagious.
If somebody doesn't hire Tatum Outlaw for a fantastic job, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
Well, now you got to listen to him.
Yeah. She is awesome.
Oh,
so I don't know
appreciate it.
whoever's listening, but I'll tell you what, she's really good.
Oh,
so
thanks so much.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, guys, that has to come to an end with this episode. But thank you so much, Steve, for
You
stopping
bet.
by.
Yeah, good to be here.
Good to
Appreciate
have
it.
you back,
Yes.
Brody, as always. We'll till next week.